plastic bag, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again. Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Do you ever feel already buried deep, 6 feet under screens, but no one seems to hear a thing? Do you know that there's still a chance for you, 'cause there's a spark in you? You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go you're gonna leave 'em all in You don't have to feel like a wasted space. You're original, cannot be replaced. If you only knew what the future holds. After a hurricane comes a rainbow. Maybe a reason why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road. Like a lightning bolt, your heart will glow, and when it's time, you know you just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just on the night, like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go you're gonna leave 'em all in Boom, boom, boom. Even brighter than the moon, moon, moon. It's always been inside of you, you, you. And now it's time to let it through. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go as you shoot across the sky. Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make 'em go you're gonna leave 'em all in Even brighter than the moon, moon, moon. Boom, boom, boom. Even brighter than the moon, moon, moon.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Fine light in the beautiful sea. I chose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right away. to the universe as we moonshine and Mali. Feel the warmth, we'll never die. We're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. At first sight, I felt the energy of sunrise. I saw the life inside of you. Shine bright tonight. You and I, we're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. I too, I'm so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shining bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. So shine bright tonight. You and I, we're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. I too, I'm so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh yeah. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Good morning, parents and students, and welcome to the third Black, Brown, and College Bound Scholarship Symposium. This conference is designed to introduce high school and transfer students to higher education opportunities and will feature presentations and workshops focused on college and careers, what to expect after high school graduation, financial, FAFSA, education, and paying for college, self-care, and pathways to gain employment. In addition, attendees will hear from a variety of professionals within the field of business, education, philanthropic, and community advocacy to hear about their journey to successful careers. We hope this seminar will change your life. In June of 2018, Judy Reno, Kelly Bashong, head of the Phoenix Library, and I met to plant the seeds for the scholarship program Boot Camp. With collaboration and coordination as the foundation for this initiative, we did not want to duplicate community efforts or have an experience that was a conflict with any other events already on the calendar. That meant that we needed to partner with a number of ongoing projects. After conducting a variety of meetings from June 2018 through February 2019, with individuals representing many of our collaborators, we invited African American and Hispanic students and their parents and guardians to the Scholarship Boot Camp to increase the number of African American and Hispanic students who apply for and are awarded college scholarships. Collaboration yielded April 5th, 2019, participation in the Paul Quinn College presentation at Phoenix College. April 20th, 2019, implementation of the inaugural Black, Brown, and College Bound event. April 26th, we participated in the Maricopa County 100th year celebration Freedom Fund dinner with Dr. Michael Sorrell, who's the president of Paul Quinn College, who awarded scholarships to that college at that time. And October 19th, 2019, which was the creation of the second Black, Brown, and College Bound event. And we also followed up with the planning for this event. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Shawn E. Geer, President of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Delta Beta Omega Chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Shawn Geer.
Thank you, Michael. As the president of the Delta Beta Omega chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, it is my honor to welcome you to the third annual Black, Brown, and College Bound Scholarship Program. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated had its humble beginnings from the vision of 9 college students on the campus of Howard University in 1908. Since then, the sorority has flourished into a globally impactful organization of more than 300,000 college-trained members. AKAs are dedicated to implementing programs of service that enhance the social, economic, and educational well-being of the local, national, and international communities. Programs remain the heart of AKA. There are 3 graduate and 2 undergraduate chapters in Arizona. In the greater Phoenix area, Delta Beta Omega chapter began its service to all mankind in 1946. So as you can see, we have been serving the greater Phoenix area for nearly 75 years, and that continues as the needs of our society and community changes. Our signature program is the college admissions process, also known as #CAP. It is especially designed to assist high school, junior, and senior students and empower students with the knowledge that they need to achieve a bright and prosperous future. This partnership and program, Black, Brown, and College Bound, ensures that the signature program can be carried forward into the communities that need it most. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our sponsors and team members. Michael Kelly, Chair of the Leadership Consortium, Joy Klein, Senior Director of Education and Scholarships, Arizona Community Foundation, Judy Reno, College Depot Director, Phoenix Public Library, City of Phoenix, Dr. Eula Saxon-Dean, Event Co-Chair, Monica Marallian, Community Outreach Coordinator for Community Outreach Enrollment Development, Mesa Community College, Dr. Camilla Westenberg, creator of the HBCU Fair. My Brother's Keeper, City of Phoenix, and Dr. Larry Johnson, President, Phoenix College, and our sponsors, the Arizona Community Foundation, Arizona State University, City of Phoenix, College Depot at Phoenix Library, the Leadership Consortium, the Links Incorporated Phoenix Chapter, Mesa Community College, My Brother's Keeper, Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix College, South Mountain Community College, and Top Ladies of Distinction, Phoenix Chapter. Now, please give a special thank you to our sponsors. I am delighted to introduce the moderator of this outstanding program, Dr. Eula Saxon-Dean. Dr. Dean serves as the co-chair of the Black, Brown, and Brown Boot Camp and is a longtime advocate of educational advancement and youth advocacy. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dean.
Thank you, President Sean Gia, and of course to our co-founder, Mr. Michael Kelly. I am very pleased to welcome all of our students, parents, and guests to the third annual Black and Brown College Bound event, and a very special welcome to our program participants today. We hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity today. And we certainly hope that you've started with the very first activity after registering and signing in today, and that's to complete the pre-survey. If you have not done so, please check the chat box. There should be a link in the chat box. We believe that we have a very wonderful program planned for you, and we hope that we will be able to answer many of your questions. But we understand that we can't answer all questions. So we've made provisions just in the event that you want to come back to us. We have many of our videos already recorded, and they can be found on the web page. Many of you may have already seen them, but we want you to also take advantage of paying attention to our special speakers and program participants today, because we want you to be able to come back and raise questions and follow up with those contacts. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to begin to think now, what takeaways will you record in your memory book based on what you are learning today? I hope you'll take advantage of the QR code that's been posted for you. That's going to be your key and your ticket to being able to qualify for raffle prizes. There is a quiz that will be available at the end of the program. The program will be recorded today. You will have an opportunity to learn more about that. And there's a possibility of earning a few dollars when this program is completed. So listen, let's just get busy and learn from some great, wonderful, professional people that are giving of their time for you to learn today. And I'm very proud to introduce someone very, very special in my life. She's special in our community, but I certainly take pride as owning her of one of my own. She and I have a history of participating in both friendship and service in our community. Dr. Antoinette Farmer Thompson is a very knowledgeable and personally connected individual in our community. She supports student success. She's a member of the administrative team of Arizona State University, and she serves as a leader in community services and community connections. I'm very grateful that she has said yes to coming to us and sharing with you today more information about the great and wonderful Arizona State University. So please let us hear words of encouragement and connection from Dr. Antoinette Farmer Thompson.
Thank you, Dr. Dean. I am so pleased to be here with you, Black, Brown, and College Bound. Dr. Dean is correct. We go back a long way. She is my sister and my mentor. So you'll see my first slide pop up on the screen, and it says Women Executive Grit, my path to purpose, my path to purpose. So I'd like to start this conversation off by sharing a story that changed my life. Angela Duckworth. And some of you may know a little bit about Dr. Duckworth. She's a very smart young lady. Back in the day, she was working at one of the top consulting firms in the country. And at that time, she said, you know, I want to do more with my life. So she decides what she's going to do is turn down the partner pathway at a large consulting firm and go teach math in New York. And I believe she went to a tough part of New York to teach math. And in doing so, she's working with the students and she's watching things, and she comes up with what we know as the GRIT model. And that came out of her work with the students, because what she determined by working with students is that it wasn't the smartest student that was going to make it, but it was the student that exemplified the absolute most grit. And so my personal path to purpose was all about grit. And what you see here on the screen now, just finished 2 books about grit. Constitutional Grit with the black cover is a book about models and how grit can be a catalyst for change in helping women reach the C-suite, the very top levels of corporate America. And the book with a white cover are interviews with women executives. So let me tell you this, my whole conversation with you today is based on research. It's research that you can rely on. And so spoke with a lot of women in preparation for these books. And grit was their #1 factor for making it to the very top of their different sectors. Here, we interviewed CEOs, we interviewed the chief of police, we interviewed the first woman in the Air Force as a pilot. So we've gained a lot of great information from these women. Grit is defined as tenacity, resolve, persistence, and drive, and relentless determination. And you know what else? Everyone has grit. It's a personality trait that is possessed by individuals who demonstrate passion and perseverance toward a goal despite being confronted by significant obstacles and distractions. Despite being distracted. And so on the next slide, I want to talk to you about things in life that might be distractors. Great, Tracy. Thank you so much. And so you see here, it's question 1, fallen moment. Why would we talk about fallen moments? Great question. You know, we were interviewing the ladies for the book, and we determined that grit was really important. And we talked with them about their childhood, and then we surprised them with this question. Tell us about some fallen moments in your life. And the reason we did that, because one thing you got to know about life, it's not how you start out, but it's how you hold out. And so those distractors, you can't let it destroy you. And so speaking of that, I'll share with you my own story. I was born in East St. Louis, Illinois. Born in a city, Southern Illinois, one of the poorest cities in the country. And when I think about fallen moments in my life, and fallen moments, you can see the definition on the right. It's the moments in life where you know things will never be the same before and after these moments. And that came early for me in 1975. You can see a picture here, and you can see me on the screen. Funny enough, I look very similar to that man on the screen. That's my father. My father, Manuel Farmer III. My father, Manuel Farmer III, got recruited by the FBI right out of high school. So he was part of the FBI when Hoover was running the FBI, and some of you may have heard the FBI has not always wanted Black or brown people. And so we're talking the 60s, before I was born. So he's in the FBI, but in 1975, he gets killed as a policeman, because you transition from the FBI into a role as a police officer, fingerprint expert in East St. Louis, Illinois. So he gets killed in 1975. And what I decided was, you know what? This is a lot of pain, but the pain has to have purpose. And so I go on, right? And another interesting part of my life, 1981 to 1985, you'll see there, Paradise Valley High School. So we moved after my dad passed from East St. Louis to Phoenix, Arizona. And coming to Arizona during that time, I will tell you, not a lot of Black or brown people. And so I was one of 5 at Paradise Valley High School. And it was tough. You know, it was tough to fit in. It was an awkward time for me. And I had a mom who was working really hard after my dad passed. And so very interesting moments in high school, but you can make it through. And I'll tell you how in a moment. Next, you'll see 2014, Pamela Jean Farmer, my older sister, wonderful, wonderful woman, passed away in 2014. And this fallen moment in life gave me perspective and purpose. And I'll share with you in a moment how. And if we can go to the next slide. All right, you'll see on the very left of the screen, you'll see some young ladies in PB cheerleader uniforms. Well, that was me. Remember, I was 1 in 5, but here's what I decided to do. I decided that I would not be an outlier, that I was going to make this thing work for me no matter what. And so I did a lot of work, and I became a cheerleader and in student council immediately. I encourage you to be part of any leadership type of positions. That's going to be very helpful to you. And so I end up, yes, becoming homecoming queen and becoming student body president and playing all kinds of sports and doing all kinds of other things. And why was that important? It was important because the gentleman in the center, you'll see he has a red box around him, or maroon, and his name is Neil Giuliano. Neil is still a leader in this community. And Neil was the one that provided the leadership scholarship for me to go to Arizona State University. So not only do I work at Arizona State University, I attended ASU long time ago in 1985. And so one piece of advice that I can give you from that time in my life, 2 things. 1, start building your resume immediately. Even if you're volunteering, there is not a place that will not take free help, especially right now. And the great thing about being a young person right now is you have skills we didn't have, and you have technology capabilities, you have writing capabilities, you can do anything. And so you can begin building your resume right now. The second piece of advice, get a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor, that's what Dr. Dean was for me. And she spoke into my life, and she spoke candidly. And then I had to find sponsors, people who would give me a job. She was also that at one point, but other people who would actually help me get a job. On to the next picture. Down below, it's called Adecco. Adecco, I went to after graduating from undergrad. This was a $1 billion staffing company. And what I did here was what I would encourage you to do. Find a position that allows you to learn to do a lot of different things in your career, at the beginning especially. So in this position, I didn't have a staff, so I did a lot of the work. And what was my job? My job at that time was to help technology companies find people. And so I traveled throughout the country and I set up staffing sites across the country for large technology companies. What did I learn from that job? Get any certificates or on your way, even to your undergraduate degree, get a certificate in project management, get a certificate in any of the technology, coding, anything like that, because I found that those things were useful once I started working. Fourth picture, let's go to the right of the Adecco picture. You can see the Twin Towers burning. And this was a very interesting time. This was 9/11. And I put it on the screen because I was in a role working to integrate technology into a large company on Wall Street in New York. I had a $100 million deal at the time. And I was scheduled to go to New York on 9/11 from Phoenix. And instead, 2 days prior, they said, Tony, what we want you to do is go to our subsidiary in California. So instead, on 9/11, I got on a plane in Phoenix and actually made it to California. It was a very early flight, very interesting day. We landed, we knew something immediately was wrong because they put us on the tarmac. To speed up the story, I got the last car in the National Car Rental parking lot and had to drive home very, very nervous. So much so, I left my credit card in the cash machine. And what one piece of advice that I would give you from that time in my life is do what you were created to do. And don't just do a job. And so I found myself after that deciding, okay, God, I'm going to do what you created me to do. And so if you go to the right, you'll see my pictures are from Grand Canyon University. It just so happened that they needed someone with my operations experience to enter into higher education. And so I started as the assistant dean of health sciences and ended up being the dean of the Honors College, the senior vice president for institutional effectiveness, and their chief diversity officer. And what did I learn from that? I learned to level up. Don't just be excellent. You have to be exceptional. You have to be a standout. And then all the way to the right, you'll see I still have my tiara. Remember, I talked to you about things in life that can distract you? Well, I decided that I would write it down. And so that was the very first book I wrote. And it's about my life, and it's a compilation of different talks I've given throughout the years, different sermons, if you will. And so one thing I would recommend to you immediately, just like Dr. Dean said, start journaling your journey. And what you will find is that when you feel pressure in life or you feel pain in life, it's a privilege because it will propel you. Next slide, Tracy. So what are some gritty moments? We're talking about grit, Tony. Yeah. All right, very quickly, I will tell you, one of my grittiest moments was deciding to leave that $100 million project and Wall Street and international opportunity to not having a job. And then I went and worked for Dr. Dean, which is where I realized, you know what I realized? Education was my superpower. I was always supposed to be in education. Next gritty moment, you can see the next picture is me sitting between two students at a news conference. I was the diversity officer at Grand Canyon University. And some of you may or may not remember, but it was a gritty moment for me to give some advice and opinion to the CEO that was unpopular. And so find your voice and stick to that and know your base, and you will always come out on top. The third is a picture of Dr. Christine Wilkinson at Arizona State University. I was at Grand Canyon doing really well. As I mentioned to you, I was comfortable. I had a great job, but I met up with Christine Wilkinson, and Dr. Wilkinson said, Tony, you know, I know you're doing great over there, and they've got an incredible leadership team over at GCU. Why don't you think about coming back to ASU? We've got some more things that we may need some help with. And I think you should go see Dr. James Rund. And it just so happens that Dr. James Rund is responsible for all of the outreach to high school students. So if there are ever any questions you have, you can get my email from Tracy and Dr. Dean. And so Dr. Rund says, Tony, I want you to come over. I'm going to ask you to do a different kind of job. You're going to go back to process, not necessarily academics. What I want you to be is my financial officer and my operations officer. I said, okay. So now I oversee finance and budgeting, HR, marketing, media, analytics, and technology across 22 departments, to include ASU Preparatory Academies, which has 12 schools to include an online digital school. And I oversee real estate of about 1.2 billion and about a $600 million budget, 4,000 part-time and full-time employees. So I'm going to tell you finally, the best advice I can give you is on the last slide. Don't be average, don't be good, don't be great, be exceptional. And you can see that there was a young man, to me, that has one of the best quotes. And his name is Israel Moore Ayavor. He's an inspirational writer, blogger, and speaker. And he says it this way: everybody is standing, but you must stand out. Everybody is breaking grounds, but you must break through. Everybody scratching it, but you must scratch it hard. Everybody is going, but you must keep going extra miles. Bear to be exceptionally excellent, and why not? Congratulations. This is your first step, and I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Dean.
Oh my goodness, Tony, I just want to call you Tony right now because that's where the love is. But how honored we are to see your progress and to see the work that you have done and that you continue to do. And students and parents, I want to remind you that I ask you as we move along in this program to think of those takeaways. I have several that I've already written down, but in case you didn't get it, remember we're recording today's program and you're going to be able to come back and you're going to be able to hear Dr. Thompson again and again. And so I'm going to just leave you with the first takeaway I took. It's not how you start out, it's how you hold out. And thank you so very much. And we know you've got a great weekend planned for yourself, and we want you to get away and enjoy it. Thank you for sharing with us today. You were exceptional, not just excellent, but exceptional. May God bless you, and thank you so much. I just want to take a moment as well. I didn't recognize Miss Tracy Lewis as we started our program, but I do want to recognize Miss Tracy Lewis. She is behind the scenes taking care of all the technology with Nikki Ironwood Productions, and we are so grateful to have her as our lead technology specialist today. As we move on, we are going to hear from Ms. Sandra Jenkins, who is the lead chair of our #CAP program. And this is the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sororities signature program, and it stands for CAP, the College Admissions Process. And this is an ongoing program, and as you hear more from Ms. Sandra Jenkins, please know that students, you will be able to register for this program. It's an ongoing program that we will follow up at least through May and for some activities during the summer. Ms. Jenkins, let us hear from you and #CAP.
Thank you, Dr. Dean. I am Sandra Jenkins, and I am a high school teacher at Betty Fairfax High School. I've been there for about 13 years, teaching business and special education. I'm also a mother, a wife, and a mentor. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, where I chair their signature program, or co-chair the signature program, #CAP. CAP is an acronym that stands for College Admissions Process. And so with this program, we are addressing a community need. What we found is that too many high school students lack the basic support needed to navigate through the college admissions process. We know that schools have counselors, but the counselors are somewhat overwhelmed because their load is somewhere between 100, 150, 175 students. And we know that they are not able to give all of those students their individualized attention that they need with different components of the application process. Also, we found that parents do not have some of the resources, and sometimes they are ill-equipped to navigate their students through the process as well. So what we would like to do is invite the parents and the students so we can walk them through the process, because there are different components, and the components are sometimes tricky because you have to put things on a timeline. There are certain things that high school juniors need to be doing in the summer. There are certain things that high school seniors should be doing in the fall. So that's what we help them to distinguish between what they should be doing and what time they should be doing those things. Next slide, please. So what we are trying to find are juniors and seniors. We work with students of all levels, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, but it appears that the juniors and the seniors of high school are the ones who need the assistance the most. For the juniors, they get an opportunity in this program to see everything that we do with the seniors, so they can start prepping and getting ready. Oh, I need to do this then in the fall. I can't wait. I need to do this in the summer. So we just walk them through everything that they need to do and bridge the gap between what it is that they need and try to demystify this whole process, because like I said, it can be tricky. It's time consuming. The kids sometimes don't have the energy or the motivation to do the work. And so we try to give it to them in chunks and in small pieces that they can handle and work with the parent alongside the student so that the parent can offer the support that the student needs. Next slide, please. Okay, here are some of the step-by-step things that we do to help the students. Researching various institutions, meaning colleges and universities. So we try to make sure that we work with the individual student to find a college or a university that is going to be the best fit for them. Just because all your buddies and all your friends are going to ASU or wherever they're going, U of A, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the right fit for you or the best fit for you. You have to look at the size of the campus. Do you want to be at a big school? Do you want to be at a little school? How do you feel about being with 10,000 students as opposed to 2,000? Are you more comfortable? Does 10,000 take you out of your comfort zone? Does this school have your particular curriculum or what it is that you're interested in? Do they have all the extracurricular activities that you're interested in? How engaged do you want to be when you get on campus? You know, what kind of things are you interested in as far as sports and different activities? So you have to look at a lot of different things, not just, oh, my buddy is going there, so I'm going to go there too. And the entrance information as well, the entrance requirements. So we work with them on completing the applications. We walk them through that process. It's sometimes a little tricky. We help them prepare for the ACT and the SAT. But I can tell parents and I can tell students from my own experience with my own kids that the best thing that you can do to help your kids, there's no magic pill when it comes to the ACT and the SAT, it's practice. You have to practice. And so we have to provide opportunities for the students to take real tests, the same length, the same time, the same amount of questions that the real test is going to have. So we have to provide them with opportunities to practice and be timed just like they would in a real situation. So that is my advice to the parents and the students. So we have to provide those tests for them, the sample tests for them. Writing compelling personal statements. This can be kind of difficult, especially for a student who maybe writing is not their strong suit. So we will help them and we will walk them through some of the tips and strategies for writing compelling personal statements. We have examples as well. Identifying scholarships and other financial aid. We know that the FAFSA opens on October 1st. So my advice to students is you need to get in there as soon as possible. It takes about an hour and you have to have a lot of information. When I was in school, we had I don't know, it was paper. And it was like 1,000 pages, I don't know, but my parents didn't help us with anything. We would just have to go and say, okay, what is your income? That's the best they could do, just give us the income. And we had to fill out by hand the FAFSA or the financial aid application. Well, now it's all streamlined and everything is automated. So it's a little easier and it takes about an hour. I just completed my work with my son on his, so we got his all done. He's a high school senior. But the advice to parents and students on this one is that the early bird gets the worm. So the more time that elapses that you have not done your financial aid, the money starts to kind of dry up a little bit. You can't wait until, oh, I'm gonna do it in the spring. No, it's kind of late for that. You need to go ahead and do it and get it over with, and just, you have to put 10 colleges that you're interested in on there, and they'll send that information to those schools. You can go back and change it. Maybe after a month or so, you can add 10 more colleges, delete those colleges that have already gotten your information and add 10 more, but that's that. You have to do your FAFSA. And that's your money. So next slide, please. Okay, so these are some of the resources that we are prepared to share with our students who are participating in our program. We have free guides where they can, it's a large book, and I should have brought it in here, but we have a guide that we're going to give them with all the colleges and universities in the United States and maybe a few abroad, but information about their programs, about whatever their stats are, and just different pieces of information. So you can make informed decisions when you're looking through and picking colleges. We're going to provide them with a free SAT or ACT prep, whichever test they feel more comfortable taking. We provide them with one-on-one personal statement reviewers. Many of the people in our program who are working in our program are educators. And they're professors. And so we have a lot of English teachers and people who are really good with personal statements and reviewing. We also have samples, tried and true samples, students who in the past have been successful and written personal statements that have been really good. So we can show them this is what it should look like, and we can guide them on how it should look and how it should sound, because most students are just not good at that. We already talked about the FAFSA information. We can get them started on that and point them into the directions of the different workshops. They're having workshops right now, financial aid, to help students get that done, and it doesn't take long. Comprehensive scholarship information. That is something that the students are going to have to work on ongoing. It's not just something you're going to sit down and do in October, or you're just going to do it in November. Some scholarships come every month, different scholarships. So we will be providing them with links and opportunities, and we can sit down with them and help them actually complete the application. If the students need to or feel that they want to personally meet with the college representative, whether we have to do it virtually, we can help them with that as well, or the parent and the student. And we do so much more. So next slide, please. So our program will be meeting every third Saturday at 9 o'clock. We will make sure that we provide links on our website. You'll be able to go, and it will always have a link to how to join the meeting. But we will meet every third Saturday at 9 a.m. So you can bring a friend if you're a student who's a senior or a junior. Bring your buddy, bring your friend, bring someone from your class. All of this is free, and we want to, be able to help students navigate this process, and that's our theme. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Here's our email, and when you email cap@dbo-aka.org, the email will come directly to the co-chairs, and we will respond promptly to whatever question or concern that you may have. So if you have more information, please go to our website and please email us. Do you have any questions for me at this time? No questions?
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. And students and parents, you may still include any questions in the chat box, or you may utilize the email address that's been given to you, and send us your questions. We are open to answering them and bringing all of the necessary information to you as much as possible. So let's just focus just for a moment. Remember, you got to have a takeaway. So based on what you've heard about #CAP, what's a takeaway? One that I might have jotted down would be complete the FAFSA as soon as possible. And if you're still not clear about what you need to do, keep in mind that we have videos posted on our Black and Brown website. So even after today, it's going to be there. It's going to be there for many, many months. So you're going to be able to go back and get help with your questions.
Dr. Dean?
Yes.
And to Mrs. Jenkins, there is a question in the chat. It is, I am a freshman in high school. Do I wait until I am a junior or senior to join CAP?
No, you do not wait. And that's one of the pieces that we talk about when we say demystifying the myth of what you need to do, because there are certain things that you need to do as a freshman to start getting ready for your senior year. So you don't want to wait until you're a junior or a senior. For example, your community service. You want to start building that in your freshman year, your volunteerism, figuring out what sports and extracurricular activities. You want to start working on those components right now. You can do that as a freshman. So please don't wait. Please come join us. We will help you and we'll tell you some of the components of your timeline so that you won't be, behind. Thank you. That was a great question.
Perfect and perfect response. I don't know about you, but I can sense a little anxiety beginning to build because we are already making lists. We're writing in our journal, and we're trying to set some dates about what do I do and when should it be done. And our very next speaker is going to help us with how we work our way through anxiety and being successful in college. Our next speaker is Dr. Sharon Thompson, and she is a practicing obstetrician gynecologist in the greater Phoenix community, where she owns and directs Central Phoenix Obstetrics and Gynecology. She is a member of the Phoenix chapter of the Links Incorporated, and she is the chair of the Health and Human Services facet. Dr. Thompson will share ideas about how to keep you emotionally fit. Your mind matters. Thank you, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you all so much for having me today. I don't know about you all, but I have been appreciating the previous presentations. I was so enthralled with Dr. Thompson, no relation except in spirit, and her presentation where she gave us a little sense of her life journey. And if you took away what I took away, you heard that there were ups and downs. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't one straight line. There were circles in her path, and there were some things that were unexpected. Family events, the death of her father that they did not expect, or 9/11 that made such a big difference in her career. And that is true for all of us. As we grow and experience this thing called life, we will experience unexpected events, whether they're in our family or whether they come from the world, the greater world. Look at the COVID pandemic that has changed the world for so many of us. And it is for us to develop tools and supports that will help us go through those ups and downs. They will happen. They will happen to all of us if we're lucky enough to continue living. And so I want to talk to you a little bit today about, some of the things that you can put in your toolkit to help you get through those ups and downs, those circles of life, the backtracking that will get you to, a long, happy life. And one of them is just to celebrate your wins. And I want all of you on this call today to think about where you are now compared to where you were. And even if you're in high school, you've been somewhere, right? There was a time where you didn't speak English, right? Where you couldn't walk. And now here you are about to embark on this next phase of your life. And that is exciting. And lots of folks don't even get to where you are for a variety of reasons. Either they didn't make it out of high school, and sadly, 28% of students who start high school don't finish, but here you are. So I want you to celebrate that. I didn't even think about celebrating my milestones until I was in medical school. And I was talking to a therapist, a counselor. I was stressed out, who knows for what at this point. And she said to me, well, do you celebrate when you pass a class or get an A? And I looked at her like she was an animal in the zoo. What is she talking about? Because it had never occurred to me to take the time to celebrate wins, to celebrate all the good grades that had even gotten me to medical school. And there had been a lot, you can imagine. And it had never occurred to me to take some time to say, yeah, you did that. You're great. So I want you all to start there. Take the time to celebrate what's good in your life. Take the time to celebrate that you overcame a challenge. Take the time to celebrate that you did better than expected. Because it is so easy to go through life and get on the treadmill and just keep going and going and going and doing without ever stopping to pause, take a breath, and acknowledge you, acknowledge your accomplishments. So I just want to start there and congratulate all of you who are here today, whether you're a parent who is raising a child who is embarking on this journey, or whether you're a young person who is looking at this next phase of your life. Congratulations to you. I am so proud of you for having done everything you needed to do. And it doesn't have to be elegant, it doesn't have to be pretty, but you did it and you accomplished it, and here you are. So congratulations to you. Some of you have gotten here because you had a supportive family network, your aunties, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, and that is wonderful to have had that support. And some of you have gotten here without those supports. But what I want all of you to hear today is that an important part of your journey into the future is to understand that developing, supporting, loving relationships is a matter of intention. It is not a matter of where you're born, because all of us can tell stories about people whose families are not so supportive. And so just being born into a family doesn't mean you have loving, supportive relationships. Those are built by intention. Those are built by effort. And so as you move into this next phase of your life, pay attention to developing relationships that are supportive. And how do you get that? That's easy to say. How do you get it? One, you get it by showing up as yourself. It is so easy in this world of videos and Instagram and filters to pretend to be someone else, to try to show up as what you think the world wants you to be, to try to be whatever your idea of perfection is. But I want you to show up as who you are. And that person may be messy sometimes. Your hair may not be in place. You may not have gotten A's in everything. And that's okay. That's who you are. That's your own particular journey. Because I want people at the end of the day to know who you are, because they can't support you if they don't know you. So show up genuinely as yourself. Show up with honesty and integrity. So show up ready to be honest with your friends and to expect honesty back, because then you will get the knowledge and the insights that will help you grow, that will help you answer questions, that will help you out of tough spots. And sometimes when people say things to you that are honest, you don't want to hear them. I've been in that circumstance. We all have. But if you commit to showing up with integrity, to listening to honesty, and maybe in that moment when someone says something honest to you that you don't like, you may not express gratitude. But when you go back in the quiet of your own space, and you think about that, and you think about what can I learn from what that person just said? I'll give you an example of that. When I was in graduate school, and this is many years ago now, I didn't cook. I don't cook much now, but I really didn't then. And I was telling a friend, like, I don't have time for that. And she said to me, Sharon, refusing to cook for yourself is a refusal to take care of yourself. And I did not appreciate that at the time. I won't tell you the words that crossed my mind at the moment, but I was not happy with her. But, you know, maybe it was a few weeks later that I thought about what she was saying. And now that is one of the sort of principles in my mind about taking care of yourself. What are you doing to take care of yourself? You take care of other people all day. Are you taking care of yourself? So I want you to be open to relationships that will give you that honest feedback, even when you don't like it in the moment, because that's a part of building a community that will be there to support you. Ms. Jenkins talked about, you know, high school counselors and how they can be people who are great resources for you at this stage in your life. That's a part of your tribe. That's a part of the person or someone in the CAP program who can be a part of your loving and supportive relationships that will help you get through those tough times, that will help you when things are not as smooth as you expect, when unexpected events happen in your life, when the world throws you a curveball like coronavirus or a fire in your town and you have to rebuild. You want to have those relationships there. So be intentional at this stage in your life about forging those relationships. Another thing I want you to think about as you open this door to this new adventure is to ask for help. It is so hard sometimes to ask for help because we have all these tapes that we play in our minds about, oh, I should already know, or my family should be doing this, other people's families do it for them, or we have shame about needing something. And I will say this to you, every college, every trade school has an academic advising office. They have mental health or counseling service, and they wouldn't have those services if people didn't need them. You are not the only one who needs to use these services. And also, they don't give refunds if you don't use the services. So do ask for that help, because it doesn't help anybody for you to flounder and to fail and to not do well when there are resources available. So it's hard sometimes, and sometimes you have to swallow and take a deep breath, or you kind of have to talk to yourself in the mirror before you can go do it. But get in the habit of asking for help. The help is there for you. And what you find when you let pride go and you ask is that people are there to help you. Maybe not that first one, but you will find people and programs that are out there to help you. So do make sure that you use your resources and ask for help. Along with building that muscle of asking for help, I want you to think about balancing working hard and downtime. College is a time where you go there to learn. Your parents send you with the expectation that you're going to learn. And maybe you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, an engineer, and there's an expectation that you're going to get A's all the time. So you might think that what you should do all the time is study, study, study. And studying is great, and absolutely you should do that. But also take some downtime, because our bodies need to rest and our minds need to rest. And it's so important. And I'm not saying be reckless. Don't hear me saying that. But I am saying take downtime, time to go for a walk, time to exercise, time to do the things that you enjoy. And for some of you, that may be cooking. For some of you, that may be sewing. For some, it's knitting. For some, it's animals and visiting the animal shelter and volunteering. So do remember to take that downtime to just breathe and to allow your mind and your body to be rejuvenated. And that's what play will do. And sometimes it's just being silly, right? Hang out with your friends and being silly. In colleges, one of the dangers for young people is that they're alcohol and they're drugs, and people will often equate those with having fun, with relaxing, with downtime. And I caution you against that easy slope to slide down. And I've never really used those things myself, so I can't tell you from personal experience, but I have no doubt that they are in fact relaxing, but they come with so many side effects, right? That I wouldn't recommend those as your rejuvenation, as your downtime, because you spend a lot of time recovering from the side effects of those. So I want you to definitely balance your life. Definitely take time for rest and rejuvenation, but resist those messages that will tell you that you will find rejuvenation in drugs and alcohol. No doubt for a short time you will, but the long-term consequences of those are just not worth it. Whereas if you go for a walk, you get the benefits of the walk. There are no side effects. There's nothing to recover from the next day. There's no apology you have to do. There are no bad decisions you made because you went for a walk. So balance work and rejuvenation. And I want to talk about two more things. And then if you have questions, I'll definitely take your questions. So go ahead and put them in the chat. One of the things that college presents is a beautiful adventure and an opportunity, and also freedom, right? You're away from those parents who had so many rules, or those family members who had so many rules. And I want you to experience that adventure. And sometimes there's some folks who go all out and they make bad decisions, and there are others who are so fearful of that adventure that they let fear drive. And I want you to have fear, but use it wisely. Use that fear to make you ask more questions, to help you get more information, to help you see a new perspective. That is the value of fear in our lives, that it can help us do those things. And then act anyway. Use that extra information, use that change of perspective to have the adventure wisely. So experience the newness that makes you uncomfortable sometimes. Experience the unknown, the thing you've never done before that can make you uncomfortable. But use fear as a tool, not as something that's the end of the adventure, but the beginning. And finally, I want to say that there are going to be challenges in college. I think all of us have told you about some of the successes that you can have on your journey, about some of the tools that you can use to get to success. But the reality is there will be challenges. We know from statistics that 74% of mental illness and mental issues will occur by age 24. So you're going to see those, and maybe one of them will happen to you. But what I want you to understand is that if you invest in that tribe, if you use fear wisely, if you develop relationships that are loving, honest, and supportive, if you learn how to ask for help, then you will be resilient through those challenges. You will, and that is the definition of grit, the ability to rebound from challenges, the ability to go through challenges without being defeated by challenges. I will be happy to take your questions. And of course, if you don't have questions today, but they occur to you later, the organizers will have my information as well. Thank you so much for having me. And again, congratulations to you all.
Well, thank you so very much. I think that the information you shared today is something that every one of us can use in our own personal life. And that's taking time to celebrate and just knowing that we can ask for help no matter what's going on. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. We appreciate that. I do want to know if students have any questions. If you do, put them in the chat. And if we aren't able to answer all of your questions today, please know that we will get to them. I saw a question, I think, coming from Ms. Isabella Watkins. It says, I'm looking at going away to an out-of-state school. What is the best way to connect with students with healthy habits?
That's such a great question. And there are a couple of ways. One is that most schools will have some sort of portal, some sort of electronic way to connect students. A lot of them will use Facebook. Some of them will have their own independent portal that will connect students beforehand. And I tell you, in those chats, people will start revealing themselves, right? People will start revealing themselves. My tactic when I was in college, even med school, is I always associate with the kids who I think are smarter than me, who study harder than me. And it's not necessarily because I think I'm going to get the grades that they get, but they have good habits, right? That's how they got there. And some of them will be lifelong friends. Some of them you'll realize that you don't really want to be, associated with them in the long term for whatever reason. But check out that group. Go to those Facebook pages. You'll see people will start revealing themselves, and you can start picking out who you want to be associated with.
Good answer. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? We have a panel coming up very quickly. Dr. Thompson, thank you so very much. We know how to contact you, and some students may want to be able to address some resources, so we will reach out to you, and we appreciate you so very much for serving in the community in the very exceptional and special way that you do. Thank you, and may all of your service be blessed. Thank you so much, and we'll keep moving forward with our panel. And I know that there was a question raised about financial aid, and is there a deadline to complete the FAFSA? So as I move forward to the panel, I'm moving that question as the first response for the panel to address. So let's just move ahead and address and introduce the panel, keeping in mind that that will be our first question for them to address. Our panel today is going to be led by Dr. Kira Gatewood, and she is the Director of Staff Operations and Student Services at Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University. She is also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Delta Beta Omega chapter. Our panel also includes Ms. Christina Scott. She is Dean of Student Retention at Estrella Mountain Community College. She too is a member of Delta Beta Omega chapter Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. Ms. Monica Magayan is a member of our planning team for the Black, Brown, and College Bound, and she is the Community Outreach Coordinator at Mesa Community College. Ms. Judy Reyno is a member of our planning team, and she's Director of College Depot at the Phoenix Public Library. Mr. Robert Olmos, he's the College Access Advisor and he's the director of the College Depot at the Phoenix Public Library. This panel will address many concerns and issues in terms of what it's like to go to college, how to prepare for college, what are the issues, but I would like for them to address whether or not there is a deadline for the FAFSA. This panel will be immediately followed with information regarding scholarships and opportunities for those of you who are participants to become prize winners. So after those two, well, let's say 3 activities happen, then you will hear from me again. Dr. Kira Gatewood, please lead your panel.
Thank you, Dr. Dean. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you this afternoon. We have so much to cover, and we have some questions that have come in from our audience to discuss with our panel. But the first question that we're going to discuss is the FAFSA. When is the deadline? We do know that it opened October 1st. So when should students be applying? And that is open to any panelist.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to jump in for this one. Indeed, FAFSA season launched on October 1st with the new FAFSA application, and the deadlines totally depend on which colleges and universities that you are applying for. And so the best thing to do is apply early, and that way you can make sure that you have it completed in its entirety and that you meet all deadlines. It depends, you know, NAU has the first one and then ASU, and then it goes on accordingly. And the community colleges are the later deadlines. And so if you can complete it in October or, you know, through mid-November, you are in great shape. We definitely recommend it, the sooner the better, and we are here to help with that.
Thank you so much. As we go on with our panel, I think there are a few questions that kind of talk about what should we be doing at this given point if we're in high school and we're interested in going to college. So at this point, I do want to let the audience know that if you have any questions, you can go ahead and drop those into the chat, or you can use the Q&A feature in which someone will respond directly via the panel, or we can respond to you directly via the chat. All right, so the first question is going to go to Monica, who is our community outreach coordinator for Mesa Community Colleges. The question here is, what can a high school senior do to get ahead for college?
That's a really good question. Thank you so much for asking it. Actually, they can actually start getting into early college programs at the high school level. And if they're high school seniors, they can even start up to when they're sophomores. So the sooner that they can start looking at early college programs within the community college system, the better. For Mesa Community College, we have several early college programs. We have the ACE program, the Hoop of Learning. We have dual concurrent enrollment in Early College Academy. So they can start obtaining college credits while they're in high school. And it can be a variation of ways of doing it. I can go into detail for each one of those, but I mean, if anybody's interested, they could sure send me an email and I'll be glad to send them more specific information on the program.
Now I have a follow-up question for you. For students who are in the 9th grade or just entering high school, are those programs that are accessible to them?
The Hoop of Learning program would be the one that is accessible to them. We also have at Mesa Community College what we call a College Starts Now summer bridge program that we actually go into their 8th grade year, and they can earn a college credit before they start their 9th grade at the high school. So that's another opportunity. And then they connect them, for those students that participate in that summer program, they connect those same students to additional early college programs.
Thank you. So I have another question, and this question is going to be for Robert, who is the College Access Advisor for College Depot. First, could you tell us what College Depot is? And secondly, could you answer the question, what if I don't know where I want to go to college? What if I don't know what I want to major in? How do I even get to that point? I believe you'll need to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. College Depot is a free college access center located in downtown Phoenix, central just south of McDowell. So it's open to anybody that comes through our doors, whether you live in Phoenix or not live in Phoenix. We have a lot of resources online too, but I want to get to that question that you said. Number one is to schedule an appointment with an advisor. I'm a full-time advisor. There's also another group of advisors that we have as well. The important thing about doing that is to develop a college plan, a plan of action. And it's also about developing relationships. I know that you guys talked about relationships. We do that as well. We assist them with, especially their first generation. I was first generation. I wish they had College Depot when I was around. I would have probably been the first person there at the center. We help them overcome their barriers, their fears, and that's about develop relationships. Also about majors, there's a lot of online assessment tools to see what their strengths are. A lot of us, we know what our weaknesses are, but we don't know what our strengths are. So we want to focus on that. What are their strengths? So that way they could focus on what they want to study. Of course, that could change over time. So we assist them in locating scholarships, financial aid, and one of the most important things that we do is we're a supportive and encouraging ally. We always there to help them in their college process, not just the student, but also the parents as well, which is, you know, something that's unique to our organization, I think.
Thank you. And so as a follow-up question to that question, this particular program is for high school students who are interested in transitioning to college, but also transfer students who are looking to go from a community college into a four-year institution and earn that degree. Can you talk about what if what they started studying in that community college is not what they want to study as they transition to the four-year institution? How can they navigate those changes and kind of create a plan for themselves? What are some things they should be doing?
Okay, we could also help them with that process as well. If they go in-state, a lot of the universities, they transfer all those credits to ASU, NAU, U of A, and things of that. There's also transfer scholarships. There's something called Earn to Learn, a specific scholarship just for community college students. So those are the things that we could help them with. And just to let them know about their last 2 years, they could just focus taking courses in their major. And a lot of students don't know that. They think, oh, I have to take 2 years community college and 4 years of university. No, it's 2 and 2 equals 4. So we kind of demystify all that that process. They're already college students, so they already know the process. Like ASU Tempe, it's a big campus, right? But they still have to take tests and everything else, and we just prepare them to their next step in life. Okay.
Thank you for that information. So I just want to reiterate something very important that Mr. Robert talked about, is that if you are a community college student and you are transitioning to a four-year institution, you're already a student. And so you really shouldn't take that anxiety with you of figuring out something different. Is it something different? Absolutely. Different people, different instructors. However, the concept and the foundation is the same. You still have courses, you will still have tests, and you still have support. So as we move and transition into the next question, some of the questions that I see here are about finances. And so we've talked about a little bit about scholarships, but let's move kind of into the finances area, and then we'll transition into enrollment. But I think this question will go great for Monica. What are some of the financial supports available to students who are wanting to attend some of those early college programs?
Actually, all of our college programs, specifically, for instance, ACE and Hoop of Learning, they're free. They're free of charge. They do, it's a scholarship program. Specifically, the ACE one is a scholarship program. If they applied for that program and get awarded to be part of that program, it's a two-year program that they have to commit to, but it's all paid for, and they can earn up to 24 college credits. For the Hoop of Learning, it's specifically for our Native American students, and that program covers all tuition, all books, transportation. With the additional early college programs, we have in Maricopa what's called Maricopa grants. So it's a matter of them applying for those grants, and if they meet the financial need, they are able to be awarded and they get those courses paid for.
Thank you. Free opportunities. So for Miss Judy, I have a question for you. What resources are available to pay for college? Now, we all hear grants and we hear scholarships, but what exactly is a grant? And what's the difference between a grant and maybe a loan?
Great question. So you unlock a lot of these opportunities by filling out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. That opens up the opportunity for federal Pell Grants, which is, a grant is money you don't have to pay back. It also can unlock loans. And loans, you just have to be careful and make sure you're taking out a package that makes sense for you. If it does make sense for you, I'm happy to report that Robert and the rest of the team are happy to analyze a financial aid report and help you determine if you do need a loan, and if so, how much of a loan you should accept, because that really is a very personal and individualized decision. And it can be a great investment, but you just have to tread carefully when you get into the loan category. And then there's scholarships. There's a lot of scholarships available directly from the colleges and universities, which I'm going to talk about with Robert later. And then there's great private scholarships as well. And so stay tuned for later in the program. We're going to show you a portal of some really great scholarship opportunities.
Thank you. Okay, now we've talked about how do we pay for college, and because that typically is the first question that's on a lot of individuals' minds, but there's something in between, and that's the enrollment process. And so, Dean Scott, can you speak to what are some things to consider during the enrollment process? What should we be looking for? Are there questions we should be asking?
Hi, yes, so glad to be here and being able to be amongst colleagues and sharing about success strategies. And so there are a lot of things to consider. And I think with some of the information that has come up through questions, you're really going to have to look at, are you looking at in-state, out-of-state? Do you want a smaller college, a large campus environment? And so there are many things and to consider. And now is the time. I see there are questions coming from those that are freshmen in high school all the way to seniors, and then maybe transferring. But looking at those admissions deadlines, I'm currently in school myself, and when I was going and applying for my doctoral program, there are so many different deadlines. There are so many different considerations, such as essays and admissions requirements that you're not always thinking about. So really connecting with, and this has been emphasized a couple of times, with a recruiter, the recruitment and outreach team that can help kind of outline what are the requirements for admission. So thinking about those deadlines, thinking about those admissions requirements, whether they're essays and applications that you have to submit. Another thing is looking at placement measures. I work with the Maricopa Community Colleges and specifically at Australian Mountain Community College, and we use a variety of different scores to look at what classes you're going to place into when you go into math, English, and reading, those core classes that really get you going with your degrees program. So we can look at SAT scores, we can look at ACT scores, we can look at your high school transcripts and your GPA. We can also assess you and do placement tests. So there are multiple measures and multiple things that we can look at to ensure that you're placed at the right level, because we want a great start from the beginning. And so really thinking about when you need to take those exams, what are the placement requirements, and then also considering what are the different orientations and experiences that each particular college offers that can give you a peek inside of what that campus will offer for you to help you make a decision on where you want to go to school. But I can't emphasize enough making the connection with an individual in the recruitment and outreach areas that can really help you better understand what are the requirements for the particular college or university that you're looking for.
Thank you, Dean Scott. So I have a question.
I'm sorry, Dr. Gay. I want to add one more thing, if you don't mind, while I have the time. Just to, we talk a lot about paying for college, and we were discussing the different resources that are available. I want to mention that some students want to work while they're going to school. That's another opportunity for paying for school. Don't forget about federal work study, which is where you can get paid as a student if you filled out the FAFSA. Another thing is working on campus. You can work on campus and get part-time work. So there's a lot of direct correlation that if you're working on campus, gaining that experience, that you are much more successful than trying to balance a job outside of campus. It may make sense to have a job off campus, but take a look at that as another opportunity. If you're going to work and help you through school, look at on-campus positions, because you're going to get that additional support. Working in education and working in a department at the college, they understand that you're a part-time student or full-time student and working part-time and managing other things. So take advantage of working on campus if that is something of interest, and that's another way to help support you paying for school.
Thank you. And I do want to highlight and emphasize that on-campus positions do give you an opportunity to increase your network as well. And so that is an opportunity for you to get to know individuals who are working on that campus to support your educational success. And so when you need things like letters of recommendations for scholarships or letters of recommendations for national scholarships, the Rhodes, the Marshalls, those are things that you want to have in your back pocket and not have to scramble for when the time comes. Okay, as we move on to finances, I do want to ask this question to anyone on the panel. Is there something that parents should be doing to set their students up for success financially when it comes to college and paying for college? What are things they should be doing at this point, be it freshman year, sophomore year, or even senior year? How can parents start to have those financial conversations with their students?
Go ahead. So I know I'm not the expert, and I think someone else is going to chime in with financial aid. What I wanted to mention, and then I'm sure someone else will chime in, is that as a parent reflecting back on when I was in or looking at undergraduate, sometimes you look at the amounts of the scholarships and things, oh, this is minor, it's only $50, it's only $250. Well, $250 plus $250 plus $250 adds up. So I think as a parent, look at all of the different opportunities with scholarships and grants, because all of that adds up, and that will support your students so that they are leaving college without debt. So I will allow someone else to kind of talk about how to get that, but I think just keep that in mind. Go for every opportunity, financial resource that's out there.
Okay, Mr. Robert?
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to chime in. On our scholarship page, it's fantastic. It's not just for high school seniors. I've seen them as low as kindergarten where students could get scholarships and above, 7th, 8th and above. So that's another great resource looking down the road. They could already get that in practice of writing this essays. They already kind of know what the college process is. I've had appointments with 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders. Their parents bring them because they want to get a head start of what they need to do. We have, I think, a 8th grade timeline. These are the things that should get prepared going to high school and beyond. So, not just look at our resources, all the different resources that are available from Black and Brown College Bound organizations.
I'd like to jump in as well and talk about the importance of having these discussions as a family about budgeting. And, students need to understand that it's not just paying that tuition and that room and board. I mean, all of a sudden for the first time, you have to, buy your, deodorant and your, like everyday supplies that students don't necessarily think about. And so I think, one of the most important things you can do as a parent is talk to your students about credit cards and the dangers of credit cards. The first time you walk on campus, you're probably going to see a table set up with, a local bank offering you a credit card and a free t-shirt. And so I think it's really important to start talking really in financial literacy concepts with your children about what is a budget, and try and help them understand that concept already, giving them a budget in high school so that they understand, that these things that, are in your, bathroom and your house and your refrigerator, they're not free. Mom and dad budgeted for those. And so starting to understand those money management concepts and the dangers of getting into debt, I think having those conversations early. And then in terms of, financial aid and scholarships, I think we've already heard, apply for all the opportunities. There's so many great opportunities out there to get, college paid for and help with all those costs. And the other message that I want to say is that don't just look at a sticker price and be scared, because some of the best colleges in the country offer the best financial aid packages. And so I think, meeting with, enjoying, the opportunities of the CAP program, or setting up a one-on-one appointment with Robert and talking about what are your dreams, where do you want to go to school? And, we can help you explore the true cost of going to that institution. Because a lot of times, if you're eligible for the Pell Grant, through financial aid, it can be cheaper to go to your dream school out of state if you get in than it can be, even your local colleges. And so don't let a sticker price keep you from going after your dreams, because oftentimes that can be, those private colleges, some of those dream schools have very large endowments and can give incredible, generous scholarships. And so I want everyone to know that, there are people to help you on this journey, and we can help you to make sure that you are able to achieve your dreams, and to make sure, that you are accepting a financial aid package that makes sense for you and for your family.
Thank you. Now, this next question is kind of a follow-up to that as well. And Monica, I'm not sure if you can help us out here. We're talking to first-generation college students whose parents have not gone to college, or students who remember their parents being in college. Maybe their parents are in college right now. And so the experience is going to be a little bit different if you have a family, if you're working from home, that sort of thing. So can you talk to first-generation students and talk about what can those parents do at this point to set their students up for success if they are currently in college or maybe have not gone to college themselves?
Very good question. In me as a single mom, and I'm going to do a little bit of going back to the previous question. We always hope as moms, and especially as a single mom, to save money for college. I'm a first generation college student, so I know that that's not easy to do. And when I was following through the whole college system, I wish that I had that support from my parents, but they didn't know any better. They didn't know the college system like I do now. So one of my recommendations would be for parents is to get involved. Sometimes we tend to leave our kids alone in high school because they want to do things on their own. But honestly, that's when they most need us. So get involved. If they're like college fairs at the high school, go with them. If there are workshops at the high school as far as FAFSA or as far as enrollment for college, go with them. The more as a parent that you get involved and get informed of the college system, the more you can help them navigate that college system and make them do good choices. The more that you, let's say that if they don't know what they want to study, then help them. There's so many different tools online that they can take assessments to determine what career they want to do. Take that with them. We at Mesa Community College have been very fortunate that we actually have parent workshops where we help the parents navigate the college system. Me as a first generation college students, and then coming from Mexico, I had no idea what the college system looked like. I didn't know the difference between an associate's and a bachelor's. I didn't know a difference between a 2-year college to a 4-year college. So I know that there's a lot of parents that have fear about the college system, but if you actually start researching and get to know the college system and attend these kind of workshops, you will better off to help your students navigate it.
Thank you. And so this last question is for Dean Scott. Can you talk a little bit about what are some college success strategies that the students and the parents should be aware of and start setting themselves up for right now?
Yes, absolutely. So I work at Australia Mountain Community College, and my focus is on the retention areas. And what that means is once you have applied, enrolled for classes, I work with teams that look at how can we support you from entry to completion. So there are four key areas that we really zero in on for our students, and that's learn, engage, connect, and what do we ultimately want you to do? Graduate. So when you think about learning, right now, think about all the resources or learn about all the resources that are available. We've talked a lot throughout this past hour and a half that we've been in the workshop, and there's so many resources available in and outside of the classroom. And so for parents and students, just know that there are resources such as counseling, there's disability resources, there are advisors that are on campus. We have career and transfer services. We have transfer reps from other universities that are on campus that are there to share. So take advantage and learn about those resources and think about what type of experiences you want to have in college, and does that college or university meet that when you're deciding on which school you want to go to. The other key thing is engage in different clubs and organizations. I know one of the questions was, well, how can I get involved and learn? There's so many different student clubs and organizations that meet your individual interests, whether it is, we have a Women Rising, we have a Male Empowerment Network, if it's connected to the specific degree. When you think about universities, if you want to go into engineering, there's the National Society of Black Engineers. So there's so many different organizations that can get you connected and take advantage of the different services that are available, such as tutoring as well. The other piece is connecting with your professors or an advisor, because it is so important to make that meaningful connection so that you can have that support team. And then, like I said, graduate. You have so many resources right here on this panel and that you've learned about this morning. And it's my job as well as my privilege to help you. So just know that to be successful, reach out to us now. It's never too early, and we would be honored to do that. So you have our information, use it.
Absolutely. And so to just highlight on the question that was presented, our work study programs awarded based on parent incomes. So it is based on your FAFSA, so you need to complete that. So that is why it is really important to get a great financial snapshot of what awards are available to you. You should complete it as soon as you can. I always say if you are a person who needs a hard deadline, I will give you a hard deadline, January 1st. That has always been my hard deadline going forward. And that's because most institutions start processing awards around February, March. And so they need to have a complete snapshot of your financial suitcase, so to speak, what you're bringing to the college. So go ahead and get that FAFSA done and make sure that you are ready. I want to thank all of the panelists for their time, their energy, and their expertise that they have shared with you this afternoon. I am Dr. Kira Gatewood, Director of Staff and Student Services at Bearthie Honors College at Arizona State University. I just also want to highlight that if you are an individual who had a 504 or an IEP and you are thinking about college, college is still for you. And so as Dean Scott highlighted, there are a lot of services, a lot of opportunities to support you while you're there. So don't think of it as a hindrance, think of it as knowing exactly where you're starting. And we're here to help you get you through to the finish line. Thank you.
Great panel discussion. Thank you so very much. We're going to move quickly to Judy and Robert to finalize some discussions on scholarships.
Thank you, Dr. Dean, and thank you, Dr. Gatewood, for that great panel and all fellow panelists. Next, Robert and I are going to talk to you a little bit more in depth about scholarships, because if you haven't picked up about it already, Robert and I are very passionate about helping students connect to scholarships. And that's one of our most prized, I think, collections that we have at College Depot is a really robust scholarship webpage. And so you are all welcome to use this site, and we encourage you to use it. And we, of course, welcome you to participate with, our one-on-one appointments with advisors like Robert on the staff so that you can get connected to these resources. So I'm going to switch gears to Robert now to talk a little bit more about our services, and then I'll show you some of the great scholarship opportunities.
Cool. Well, this is actually where College Depot, this is our home. We're inside the Phoenix Circuit Library. As you can see, it's a free college access center. We focus on a number of topics: college readiness, financial aid and scholarships, college and scholarship opportunities. We also do FAFSA small groups as well. Summer programming, that's another thing we've done as well, currently in the past. When we are actually open, unfortunately, the library is closed. We are open 6 days out of the week: Monday, Friday, and Saturdays, 9 to 5. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 11 to 7. And services are English and Spanish. So most of our advisors are bilingual, and we encourage family participation. That's our phone number. We could set up one-on-one appointments. That's our email as well. So, you know, take advantage of all of the different resources available for each one of you.
And I'm happy to report that even though the building is closed right now, our entire team is operating in a remote atmosphere. And so we are open for business, and we are hosting the same hours and the same days. So you can meet with Robert, you know, and the rest of our team Monday through Saturday. You can just request a one-on-one appointment. You can see our phone number there on the screen and our email address, or check out our website. And we're still open for business, even in this new virtual world, operating remotely. And then eventually we look forward to welcoming you to the second floor of the Burton Bar Central Library to see our space.
On that note as well, we also do telephone appointments. We've also done Microsoft Teams appointments too, where the student shares their screen. We could help them do their financial aid line by line, which are pretty nice, or other things they need assistance on. So it's almost like them being there at the office. So that's makes it more personable. So now we're going to go to scholarships, which is, this is our scholarship portal. It's a fantastic resource. Phoenix Union students or district uses this on a regular basis, along with other school districts. Like I said before, like Judy said, it's very robust. You could go into these different, we call them tiles: view all scholarship monthly deadlines, amount awards, local. You click on that and it'll give you a whole listing of those specific scholarships in those designated tiles. So, and then the other cool part about it is our staff, the College Depot staff. They verify all these different scholarship opportunities to make sure they're legit. Okay, so you don't have to worry about, well, is this a legit scholarship? They already looked it up already. That's why they put it on our website. If not, it wouldn't be on our website. We only put credible information on our website. So there's tons of information on there. Yeah, so take advantage of that. You could also, like Judy said, you could schedule a one-on-one appointment with myself or another advisor if you need help in any of these things we talked about, the whole college process. We could include the parents as well. We're open to parent participation. The staff talked about that. So yeah, we highly encourage that. And most parents, from my experience, they want to know what the process is so they could help their children when we're not with them, to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. So when they come back to us again, they've already done some of these homework items to make it a little bit more smoother. And it's all about managing, how to manage time, because they're going to need that in college and things of that nature, how to manage budget, those type of things. So we help with all that process.
And one of the most critical components of any scholarship application is your essay. That's your chance to really give your voice, and it's your time to shine. And we do have staff members who are expert essay reviewers and editors. And so we would be happy to help you create that winning scholarship essay or write your personal statement. That is one thing that you early birds can start working on now. You freshmen, you sophomores, you're asking, what can I do now? Start creating that really stellar personal statement and start answering some of these essay prompts, because that will build your database of essays to pull from once it's scholarship season, because there's a lot of great opportunities out there. And the more of your story you have written and ready to reflect upon, the better.
A few more things. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter to receive upcoming events that College Depot has to offer. We also have FAFSA labs for the next, I believe, 2 Saturdays. So we could help you fill out your FAFSA applications. And then one last thing before I close. One of my favorite quotes is, what your mind can believe, it can achieve.
Thank you, Robert. Next, I want to highlight the Arizona Community Foundation. If you're only going to do one scholarship application, I encourage that it be the scholarship for ACF, because this is the most robust local scholarship portal. You literally fill out one application and it reviews you for over 100 scholarship opportunities in the state. And typically it's those local scholarships. Those are the ones that you're going to earn. It's either the local scholarships or the scholarships coming directly from the colleges and universities that you apply for. And so you definitely have to apply for the Arizona Community Foundation Scholarship because there's so many opportunities there. And we love the ACF scholarship portal because it's such a great one-stop shop for our students searching for scholarships. And so we actually partnered together to co-host scholarship workshops. And so as you can see on the screen, we have 2 different scholarship workshops in January, February, March, and April. So there's no excuse, you have to attend. I would say even if you're not, a senior, I think it's great. And this is great for current college students as well, because let's face it, you still need more money. There's always a need for more money. And so, but it's also great for the younger grades too, to get exposure to how to start preparing for this portal so that you're in a really good place senior year. There's a lot to juggle senior year. And so the more you can have done ahead of time, definitely a great recommendation. So good news there. We have lots of support coming for when that portal opens that will be able to assist you through that process. And this next slide is showing you 2 of the really fabulous Maricopa Community College scholarship options. So if you are planning to go to any of the Maricopa Community Colleges, or if you are already enrolled at any of the Maricopa Community Colleges, please apply to both of these sites. One is the foundation. It's the 501c3 that supports the community college district in raising scholarship funds. And then the other is the Maricopa, the community college actual scholarship site. So a lot of students don't realize that there's both opportunities. And so I highly recommend that you apply on both. And again, you start with an initial profile and that can help lead to other scholarship opportunities. So just trying to keep it simple, because I know this world of scholarships can feel overwhelming because there are so many opportunities. So we just wanted to highlight some of the really great starting points for scholarships. But again, you can go onto the College Depot scholarship site and see over 300 options. So there's lots of opportunities out there and people to support you in that journey. Now that we've wrapped up the scholarship piece, I have an exciting announcement for everyone attending the event today. We have an opportunity to win some Amazon gift cards. Thanks to the generosity of some sponsors, we have 8 $25 digital gift cards for Amazon that are up for grabs that we will email to you. 8 will be selected of participants who complete a quiz on the landing page. And so Tracy will be posting the link to the landing page. It's the website where you came to register for the event. That webpage is full of incredible information. I mean, you got so much great information today, but guess what? There's even more. We have lots of great videos at the bottom of that page, and you'll see the quiz at the bottom of the page. Right now, you can see a QR code on your screen. If you hold your phone up on the picture setting to that QR code, you can navigate to the webpage that I'm talking about where you did the registration for the event. And that's the website that Dr. Dean referenced that will be up for months to come to support you in this journey. So please scroll down, take the quiz. The quiz is checking your content knowledge on some of the information you learned today, and then also additional information that you will learn when you review the website and watch those awesome videos that are posted on the main page. Then complete the quiz. It's very short. It's 4 questions plus your email address. So don't be intimidated. It's absolutely worthwhile to complete, and it's going to be great information for you. So just complete that quiz by Wednesday at noon. And then Wednesday afternoon, we will draw 8 winners of people who complete that quiz. And then we will email you a digital Amazon gift card if you are one of our 8 winners. Again, you have to check this out not only for your own educational growth, but also for that Amazon gift card. Thank you, Dr. Dean. You're up.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Judy. And students, I'm going to encourage you. This is the time to begin to celebrate and feel like a winner. So take that quiz. But before you take the quiz, I certainly want you to complete your survey, your post survey. There was a pre-survey at the beginning, and now there's a post. Now let's just get serious for the last 60 seconds before we close. You had a lot of information today. There is no way you're going to remember all of it, but I know you have some takeaways. And I am encouraging you to come back to this website, review it again. I am encouraging you to sign up for #CAP. Come to those programs on the 3rd Saturday mornings of every month. Go by and sign up for the workshops at the College Depot. There are workshops at Mesa Community College or any of the local community colleges that are available. Go on those websites, explore. It's up to you if you want to make a difference in your life. And I want you to know that you can. Everyone on this panel today, every participant said that they considered it an honor to support you. We want you to believe that. And there's a reason we feel that way. We know that each one of us that participated today had someone help us. So we encourage you to reach out. I want to extend a very special thank you to our sponsors. You've seen the sponsor slide. We're so grateful. This could not happen without our planning team. Everyone has been great. It's been a great program. Thank you all so very much. I look forward to hearing from all of you. You will hear from us. Make sure you leave your contact information at the end of the survey. Thanks again, and bye-bye, and we'll see you at the next workshop.